Alors, bienvenue tout le monde. Bill C-281, an act to establish National Labor Food Day. Pursuant to the order of reference of Wednesday, May 30th, 2018, the committee commenced consideration of the Bill 281, an act to establish a National Food Day. And the sponsor, we have the sponsor of the bill here, Mr. Wayne Stetski. Welcome, Mr. Stetski.
Thank you.
We shall give you the floor for your opening statement, I guess.
All right. So thank you very much, and I really appreciate you setting aside time today to do this on the last day of the session. I'll keep my remarks very brief so that we can focus mostly on questions, and I do believe you have a copy of my handout. Simply put, food matters. It's at the heart of our culture, our economy, and our communities. A National Local Food Day would provide an opportunity for all of us to recognize the hard work of the many producers, harvesters, manufacturers, restaurateurs, and others who put food on the tables of Canadian families every single day. It would also give us an opportunity to reflect upon and raise awareness of the challenges many Canadians face in finding healthy, affordable food close to home, and to take action to foster local food systems that work for everyone. In working on this bill, I have had the great privilege of meeting with so many producers, organizations, and individuals dedicated to local food. I've heard about well-loved Canadian products, such as melons from Minor Heritage Farm in Shefford, maple rye ale from Castle Brewing, and Strom's Farm pumpkins in Guelph. And I continue to hear from Canadians across the country about just how important local food is to their families and to their communities. It would be a sad world without Laval's famous organic tomatoes, or the locally caught fish from Richmond, BC, or Arkansas Farm's magnificent apples. I understand the committee has received letters of support from a number of national and other stakeholder groups, and the clerk has distributed them. In addition, we have received letters of support, and we will be circulating these from Food Secure Canada, the Canadian Meat Council, Restaurants Canada, and the Turkey Farmers of Canada have also submitted letters to us that we'll be happy to send on to the committee. As I've said often, Bill C-281 is an easy bill to love, and I certainly hope that's true for the members sitting around this table. I'd also like to speak briefly about Food Day Canada, an event originally organized as the world's longest barbecue in 2003. It is a private enterprise which coordinates dinners at about 31 restaurants nationally, but has no provincial or federal recognition and no direct relationships with producers, farmer markets, or other agricultural organizations across Canada, at least that we have heard from. I believe there's lots of room to promote Canadian food in conjunction with Food Day Canada. Whether it's Miramichi Gold Honey or Megantic Maple Syrup, Rabbit River Eggs or Holt Whistle Cheese, Red Deer Beef or White Owl Whiskey, we all have food in our communities to be proud of and to celebrate. I'm hopeful that with your support, we can celebrate National Local Food Day this fall. I thank you again for having me here today and look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Stetski, and without being biased, being a food producer myself, organic food producer, and belonging to a cooperative called the Local Food Cooperative, that I was also a founding member, I would certainly myself support that day in October that we could celebrate local food. But I'm sorry if I've kind of biased the committee, but that's where I stand. So any comments, questions? On commence avec...
Merci. Écoutez,
Monsieur Longfield, I think. Monsieur
Longfield. Thank you. And I think, yeah, you're right. It is hard not to love a local food initiative. I've talked with Anita Stewart at Food Day Canada as well. And in Guelph, Wellington has a local food initiative called Taste Real, which has a tourism initiative attached to it. I think in terms of the bill, the one thing I'd like to see is just coordinating with other local food initiatives across Canada, so we're not duplicating and that maybe we're enhancing the local food initiatives. I'm not sure it needs to be in the bill, but I think in terms of the spirit of what you're doing to try and build on what is already out there in the network in Canada, I'm really interested in the Taste Real group. They're quite active in Guelph. I've been a member of those, or their organizing and planning committees back when they first got going as well. So I'm sure there's other local food initiatives in Canada that could benefit from this, and make sure that we're not isolating ourselves as a federal government, stepping in doing something that other people are doing really well.
Yeah, absolutely. There are many, many different food initiatives that going on across Canada, and I think what makes this bill important is that it gives everybody in every riding, every member of parliament, every senator, the opportunity to celebrate the local food in their communities, and indeed to celebrate, Food Day Canada. So, again, I don't know whether that needs to be in the bill or not, because there are many, many initiatives we've seen from across the country. We'd like to celebrate all of them, and we encourage members to celebrate local food initiatives and food initiatives in every riding across the country.
Mr. Stetski. Mr. Berthold, Monsieur Berthold. Merci.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you, Mr. Stetski, for presenting this bill. Obviously, it has not been very difficult to have this adopted through the Conservative caucus. All of our colleagues were very pleased to be able to celebrate local food. In all of our regions, I think those that are close to producers and farmers, they see them work hard day after day. Well, I think that sometimes in bigger cities, people don't realize how important it is to buy local, buy where you are from. So this is a great initiative. Now, I thought that October 5th would be maybe the day, because I wasn't sure if the House was going to be able to pass this beforehand. If we can do this quickly, we can agree on it so that we can pass this bill, so that the very first day for the National Local Food Day would be October 5th. October would be a great time for 2018. Unfortunately, we saw that marijuana would be adopted on October, or would be passed and accepted by October 17th. So this may mitigate my excitement in October. Nevertheless, I just want to say that you have done a great job. You've consulted many groups, and many people wrote to you to support this initiative. Even in my riding, I received many comments, very positive ones, after the speeches that were made in the House on your bill. On this bill C-281. Many producers in your riding said that they were very pleased. So I know that they will be happy that the National Local Food Day will be on the weekend of Thanksgiving. So this is a great initiative. I don't have any questions really, but I just wanted to say that we support this bill. And I'd like to congratulate you for your hard work and your desire to make this day a day for local producers. Thank you, Mr. Berthold.
During the speeches that were given in the House in support of C-281, to hear the range of food being produced in all of the different ridings from the individuals that chose to speak. And it really made me want to do a cross-Canada tour, if I could, come to all of your ridings and celebrate that great local food that you have. We particularly picked the Friday before Thanksgiving so that we could celebrate local food on the Friday and then eat it on Sunday. So it was a direct really. I think that's partly why the turkey farmers of Canada have also jumped on board. A good fit for them.
Thank you, Mr. Stetski. Monsieur Berthold. Monsieur Drouin, vous avez des commentaires?
Merci beaucoup.
Mr. Drouin. Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's now my turn to congratulate you, Mr. Stetski, for this work. For the future, I would hope that I will have the opportunity to live in an area where, yes, we have turkey, and before Thanksgiving it would be my opportunity to celebrate everything that goes into my plate, and that is part of a Thanksgiving dinner. I know that in some different regions of Canada this is not possible, and I hope that with this bill we'll be able to foster local food and to ensure we encourage people to grow local food, especially where it's more difficult. I'm thinking of the north of Canada. So I just wanted to congratulate you, and I know that I want to congratulate you, Mr. Stetski, for this great initiative. Thank you.
Just wonderful to see the growth in things like farmers markets in my riding and across the country. I'll use Cranbrook as a quick example. 10 years ago, no farmers market. Now over $1 million goes through that farmers market every summer, and that's true for pretty much everywhere that there's a farmers market across Canada. So, and the interest in food security is growing as well, and this is important to keep food security in mind. The best way to have food security is to grow your food locally.
Thank you, Mr. Stetski. Mr. McGregor.
Thank you, Chair. I don't know if I can be so formal with a caucus colleague, so Wayne, I'll just say congratulations on getting to this stage. I think you picked a perfect day when people are putting together their shopping lists and thinking more about what's grown locally, which they will then put on their tables for Thanksgiving. You've got tremendous support across the board from all the heavy hitters in the agricultural community, and I think I'm prepared to move on to voting on the clauses on this bill. So thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. McGregor, Mr. Pescisolido, you guys.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Wayne, Mr. Stetski, I too would like to say congratulations. Great work. I too, like Mr. McGregor, look forward to going clause by clause. What I'd like to say though is this is good because it shows that we can do many types of agriculture. Local food is important. But it's not just the farmers markets, it's not just the kind of the foodsters. You can have a regional food system with surpluses that you can have a pretty good economic power in exporting food. So Wayne, I'd like to commend you. And as I mentioned, we're going to be having an event at Kwantlen Polytechnical by someone that I always refer to at this committee, Kent Mullenix, who was in charge of the agriculture department. And I'd love to have you there, where we'll be talking about regional food systems. And so, Mr. Chair, I'd like to end by saying, Wayne, great work. And I look forward to going clause by clause.
Thank you. And if I might, I've certainly heard from my constituents and from people across Canada how great it is to see Parliament come together, all supporting an initiative that's good for Canada. And I think that's a very positive way to finish the session, actually. Everyone has been very supportive, and I thank you so much for that. I think in the end, all of our constituents will benefit from having a National Local Food Day.
Thank you, Mr. Stetski, and Mr. Dreeshen.
Well, thank you very much, and I too congratulate you, Wayne, as someone that's actually had a private member's bill go through the process. I know how significant it is, so I know that you must be proud, and the folks that have worked with you as well. I guess first of all, you had me at red deer beef, so I noticed that, but I think the key thing is there's so many generations, unfortunately, that are away from the farm. People have stopped understanding what growing food and processing food and selling food is all about. So if this is an opportunity, and I hope that everyone will look at this as an opportunity to respect those that are on the land, the true environmentalists, and so hopefully this will help in that awareness. So thanks very much.
Thank you. And just a quick story. The first employment I ever had, I lived in a small farming town in Saskatchewan. I was picking rocks and baling hay. And I tell people that when I'm shaving in the morning, I still think of a swather going through a field. So I have pretty deep farming roots.
Okay, any other comments, questions? Okay, so we shall go the clause by clause consideration. They all have that. Alors, conformément à l'article 7.
Pursuant to article, the order of reference, Order 775, a consideration of Clause 1 and the preamble postponed. Article 2, Section 2 rather, as it adopted. Okay, Clause 3, carried. Yes. The amended title adopted. Consentment, great, yes. The preamble, shall the preamble carry? Yes. Great. Shall the title carry? Okay, good. And the bill, shall the bill as amended carry? So the committee, shall the chair report to bill as amended to the House? Great, that's done.